15 right here on 97-1 The Ticket. No doubleheader tomorrow, so both teams will only play 161 games this season. Quarterback Matt Stafford with a hip injury listed as questionable for tomorrow's game for the Lions against the Chiefs at Ford Field, but he is expected to play. Michigan football today at 12 noon against Rutgers in the Big House right here on 97-1 The Ticket. What about that quarterback situation, head coach Jim Harbaugh? That'll be Jim Harbaugh for those of you keeping score at home. Incidentally, number 25, Michigan State hosting Indiana today at 3:30 at Spartan Stadium. Spartans a 2-touchdown favorite for their homecoming game. Central Michigan visiting Western Michigan at 12 noon. Penn State all over Maryland last night, 59-0. I have the ticket update desk. I'm Jeff Lesson. For more, 971theticket.com.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Fried. Alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
Morning, Harv. Another week of mortgages, real estate, and business. What do you think about that?
Amen. It's been a great week, Harry, and we got a great fall going. We got some great guests, and of course, we're bringing in to co-host with us Frank Hudaker from our office. Hey, Frank.
Hey, guys. So you can say it slower. Frank Hudaker.
Frank Hudaker.
Francis Hudaker.
There you go.
Generally, you have to do that.
That's right.
That's why it's Frank.
Try and spell it.
Frank, you brought in John Lambrecht. John Lambrecht, of course, from Lambrecht Realty, third-generation real estate. Everyone knows your family in Southeast Michigan. I do. I've known you guys forever. Good to have you, John.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Actually, I put together this unbelievable outline and topics. I just wanted you, it's only an hour show, man. We might be here a while. But we do take your calls live in the studio, 248-539-9797. And, of course, we're on Facebook Live. You can always check us out there. And also, we're going to go right into things, Harry. As you know, September 28th already, the purchase business has been booming. Got one more day of closing here. September 30th is, of course, Monday. One more day of closings for this week. It's been an unbelievable, I thought, sort of September. It looked like things were going to slow down there for a little bit. But, of course, with the lower interest rates, we see a lot more purchase business out there. And maybe that's exciting people.
And everybody wanted to get their closings in before the end of the month, and since the end of the month is Monday and people are in their school districts and people want to wrap that up, but there'll be some stragglers, as we talked, John and I talked before, there'll be some stragglers into October that are going to close, and I think business is going to be strong. The purchase business is going to be strong through October, and November, December, January, and February in Michigan is always a question mark for one reason only, and that's the weather. And the serious sellers list their homes in the winter, right? There's no fooling around. There's no keeping your house on the market to see if you can get highest price because you want people traipsing through your house in the wintertime. So, John, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that people, right now is actually a great time to list your house and buy housing because people are, as you said, pricing them to sell. Nobody wants to carry their house through the winter, but they're pricing them to move, and buyers are there. And, I think everybody always thinks that the spring and the summer is a time when everybody wants to buy. And it is a busy time because of schools, but people are constantly moving year-round for different reasons. It could be for jobs, or they want to downsize, or just life happens.
Yeah.
So real estate moves 360 days a year.
The action out there has been a little bit more action because, of course, the lower interest rates. So there's a lot of clients out there refinancing. Some of the things that come up in mortgages and real estate are families that bought their homes last year or the year before, and then they get reassessed. Purchasing a house, just want to talk a little bit about the buying and the selling that's going on right now. But that opportunity, because when you close a house, for example, in Grosse Pointe, where you do a lot of business, and I know you're in Auburn Hills, your office there, but families might be buying a home in Grosse Pointe, for example, in any of the woods or shores. Sure enough, those taxes for that family that lived there for 20 years, now they become uncapped. So we got a little opportunity now when your taxes go up to go ahead and lower your interest rate if you bought last year and sort of offset that escrow account and reset that escrow account for the future and keeping your house payment pretty low.
It makes a huge difference. And, even just saving a couple points on your mortgage, I mean, Frank can tell you will save you thousands of dollars a year.
Well, pending home sales definitely were up. The numbers came in making 3 out of the last 4 months really positive. The housing boom of 2019, I think it's going to continue. Last year, John, you saw it. Frank, you saw it. Yep. It got slow because the rates started creeping up just about now. And then from last year, end of September till really January 1st, we saw this interest rate thing go all the way up to 5%. And for some clients with lower credit scores, even a little higher. Now's that opportunity to save some money. What do you see out there? Is the lower rate, is your phone ringing a little more?
Well, absolutely. I think what you're seeing right now is a lot of people are making price adjustments right now. So especially in Grosse Pointe, I mean, you'll see anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 plus dollar reductions, and then couple that with the lower interest rates. It's a great time to buy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens this fall as we go into the wintertime and see how 2019 ends up. January, we always come out with our projections for what we feel the home sale market is going to happen for the current year. So in January 2019, we came out, we said that it was going to be another solid year. We figured it would be very stable, it'd be very solid, and it would be up, somewhere between, 5 and 7.5%. We're going to see where that ends up. And I think that, the early returns, if the momentum continues throughout 2019 into 2020, I think you could then again see another stable year. But again, the book isn't closed on 2019 by any stretch of the imagination. Anything could happen. Business could see a surge in November and December. There are times, and Harvey's been around for a long time, as we all have in this room, you could get that holiday rush. You could get that Thanksgiving to Christmas rush, people wanting to move in by the end of the year. You'll see what happens. But, the next 90 days is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to see how we wrap up the year. Can you believe we're talking about the end of the year already?
Flew by.
Yeah.
61 degrees coming up next Friday. Well, we got a nice week coming here. And, of course, keep it here on 97.1 all day long.
You said something very, very important, the tax assessments. There's a lot of infill building going on in cities like, Birmingham's had it, Royal Oak, Berkeley, and when you're buying in those areas and when you're knocking down or you're buying a brand new home that hasn't been reassessed yet, you're going to get a big tax bill. Let's face it, we're going to lay it out there. We're going to talk straight. When you buy a house, it's been there for 50, 60, 70 years. Somebody's knocked it down. You bought it from a builder in there. It's going to get reassessed. You're going to get a bigger tax bill. So then what we do on a refinance transaction, as Harvey said, we go ahead and we reset those escrow accounts for you. So in poker terms, the pot's right.
248-539-9797. We're going to take all your calls. Frank, you want to drive in us?
Yeah, I was just, the infill is happening in Grosse Pointe and St. Clair Shores as well.
Yeah.
There were a number of people during the recession who bought homes at a very low value, rented them out over that period of time, and now they're building and expanding and putting them on the market. The amount of flip builders at this point in time is just staggering.
Well, I want to throw this out there real quick. We're sponsored by, of course, Capital Mortgage Funding. Our offices are open all weekend long, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289. And again, we take all your calls here live in the studio, 248-539-9797. This morning here, there's over 100 years of experience in this room right here, and we won't even get into all the things that are happening. Real estate's always changing, a lot of developments in different cities. You do a lot of this development, and you got a couple new projects that you're working on, John. I want to dive into a few of those.
Sure. One of the exciting projects that we've been working on is the Franklin Lofts downtown on the Franklin Street and McDougal. It's a 15-unit building, but what makes it special is there's only 15 units in it, but we have everything from 12 single-bedroom units that are anywhere from 700 square feet to 1,200 square feet. But then we've got 4 outstanding penthouses that are over 4,000 square feet with private balconies and everything else.
And what's the price range of those?
Well, you're pretty much right around $350,000 all the way up to $1.8 million for the penthouses.
Good. So when's that project going to be completed?
Well, phase 1 has been completed. So the second floor units are all complete and sold. So we have the third floor units. So we have 4 units still available in that building. And then 2 of the penthouses are still available. And the first floor is home to Detroit Denim. They've been down there for about 3 years as well. And we've got an exciting new restaurant opening next year in that building. So
that's exciting. That's a really nice little project there. Now, Franklin's
fantastic.
right. It's just a little bit closer to the river, right? So are you south?
It's right by Atwater Brewery.
Yeah.
And Joseph Campo there. And then next door to that, next year we'll be breaking ground. We've got a 40-unit condo building that's going to go right next door.
Yeah, the opportunities of new construction, and like you said, a lot of families, a lot of younger people taking a look, and a lot of adults that have sold their bigger homes in whether it be the Grosse Points or the Rochester Hills or the West Bloomfields. Hey, they're taking a look at selling them. They're saying, I want a little taste of this downtown living.
There are so many fun places to go downtown right now. No matter what you like, there's something for you. And I love that riverfront district because you're right by the Riverwalk and everything. But, people are looking for a second home, crash pad, somewhere fun to go.
Oh, that's great. 248-539-9797. We're going to take all your calls here in the morning. And we're talking about all sorts of different programs. Got a break coming up, so we're going to hold off on that call. Fred, if you could just stay on the line there a little bit. Again, we're going to take all your calls all morning. 248-539-9797. Tons to share with you on here. Let's go to that break. We come back. We'll take all your calls. Keep it here.
Alrighty, good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed, alongside of me, Harry Glanz.
You are Harvey Freed. I am Harry Glanz. And how come my mic wasn't on, you guys? You missed me for the last 3 weeks. Hi, everybody.
Harry.
You missed me for the last 3 weeks.
Well, you're back, and we were happy to have you here.
Back
It's
and
awesome.
better than ever.
Yes, sir. No doubt about that. Look who you bring in, Becky Alley from the office. Hey, Becky.
Present. I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome.
Love always having Becky here, and she brings in Joe Mock. Joe Mock from Keller Williams.
What's
Joe,
happening?
Always great to have you. That Advantage office out in the Novi Northville area.
2 offices, downtown Northville, of course, and then right there, basically 8 Mile 275. So 2 great offices, great locations.
Joe, when I was a kid, it was always like jump in the car to head down to, like, if you were going to the Michigan State games or down to Lansing or whatever, you jumped on 696, and it seemed like once you got past, I guess, Milford or something, that was it. It was all, trees and empty lots and such. That's not the case anymore. And right in your backyard, it's nonstop growing. I want to say that it's probably the hottest area in Michigan right now.
It is. Well, at least in southeast Michigan, South Lyon and actually Macomb Township, they go back and forth with, which one's growing faster. But South Lyon is absolutely booming, and you have 2 different crowds. One that says, the growth is horrible, and the other one that says, I'm moving here for all the growth.
Yeah, but it's always like
goes.
that. And by the way, Harvey, how old are you? You hopping on 696? It's all trees? What's he talking about?
Well, actually, I was surprised 696 existed when he was a kid, to be honest. So
yeah, right.
There's
All
nothing there.
trees.
Past Milford, there wasn't much. Now it's a ton of development. It's nonstop.
I'll tell you what, in 2011, a friend of mine moved to South Lyon. He said, you got to move here. I said, no way. It's all country out there. And 2 years later, there I was. And it was a little bit different already, and it continues to be different. And like I said, some people love that. Some people hate that. I continue to believe it's really going to be, like a Novi West or, like Canton. I mean, basically where it's just going to have a couple of big major roads and everything's going to be off of them. And, that there's ups and downs to that, definitely.
Well, it's a pretty area also, no doubt about that. But, but Becky, there's no doubt that Harry wants to pick on me a little bit, but there was Brighton, and we do a lot of business in Brighton.
Yes.
And
That's a long time ago. That's like back in the early 70s, Harvey, to the mid 70s. You weren't even born then. Right? But here, you go to South Lyon, right? There's 2 high schools there. South Lyon East was built about 10 years ago.
Yep.
It's a beautiful facility, beautiful school, South Lyon High. You go out there and, listen, guys, it's not out in the country.
No.
It's part of metropolitan Detroit. It's a suburb of metropolitan Detroit. People will always live where they want to live, and they'll drive to work. That's how we are around here. That doesn't diminish the growth that's going on in the city of Detroit. People want to live in urban centers, but people also want to have their own land, their own lot. They want to be out there, and you can always drive to where you work. So people are going to live where they live. Like you said, Brighton, Heartland, Howell, Macomb County. I mean, you go all the way around. It doesn't matter. Take a look. If you fly over metropolitan Detroit is a very, very large piece of land.
Plus, it's inevitable. I mean, you have, like he was saying, some people like it, some people don't. You're going to move into a location because it's undeveloped and you have that space. You don't have that neighbor. But guess what? It's only a matter of time because we are growing. And pretty soon, before you know it, like you said, places like South Lyon that weren't overly developed, it's leaning that way. And then it's either going to drive some people out, and it's going to drive other people in because the school districts are great, the homes are beautiful, and it's in a really appreciating market because it's kind of one of the few areas that are untapped right now that are growing, and there's a lot of things happening around that area.
The values in the area have basically doubled in the last 7 years.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is the sort of the fastest show in radio. It's a hardcore mortgage show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Call us 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Again, taking all your calls here in the studio, 248-539-9797. Let's roll off to Mike calling in. Hey, Mike, good morning. Welcome to our show. Mike and Novi, there you are.
Oh.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Just driving around on the range.
Great. So you called in, you're talking here, looking to buy in Florida. That's a great idea. What's going on? You're going to sell up here, or are you going to keep this?
We maintain a home. We'll maintain a home up here. We owned a home in Florida 15, 20 years ago, and for lack of use, we sold it. Now we're looking to maybe buy another one. It'd be either a town home or a single-family home in a planned community where they do all the maintenance. I cut enough grass in Michigan.
Right.
So you're going to get them. Great. I'm glad you called because I'm going to be following up with you. We do mortgages. Are you going to need a mortgage for that, or are you a cash buyer?
Now, we want to have us. We're looking for you to down and just mortgage the rest because the stock market's too good to take all your money out.
Well, great. You know what we'll do? We got a little bad connection here. I'm going to call you after the show. We thank you for calling. It's just a good call to start even things off here because we do see a lot of that with all the equity. It's sort of segue right into what's going on here. Is not so much Harry because he's still a young 60, but segue into families at this age are looking to buy that second home, that vacation home. And now you got some equity.
61.
Oh, 61. I gave you a break there. Yeah. But Frank, we see it all the time. With all this equity built in, if you bought a home here in Michigan recently, maybe 10 years ago when the market had crashed, you got a lot of equity to work with.
Equity's power, equity's flexibility for this, and it gives you the ability to take and make those decisions at that point. You get tired of the snow, there's always options, and you get to move on, and that's a big thing. Or you get to double where you get to live. Here, one down. It makes for a nice life.
John, you do so much around, you got that Auburn Hills office and you're in Grosse Pointe. I know you've always had a lot of action in Detroit. You and I were talking. You own Bookies. That's a cool place. So let's get some people excited out there. Let's give Bookies a little bit of plug. If you're hanging out in Detroit and you want some good grub and obviously a good, nice cocktail, that's where you want to head over there.
It's a great spot to talk sports and real estate.
Yeah, fantastic. Definitely get over there. Hey, let's go to this call. We got Fred out there. Hey, Fred, you got a question about Southeast Michigan. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Really
Morning,
good.
Fred.
Wow.
Good. As a listener, first-time caller, this is Rick. Just moved into East Point. Currently living with a friend of mine. Not a good situation. Trying to find a house of my own.
Hey, Fred.
I want a house.
There you go.
Excuse me?
No, keep talking, Fred. Just talking to your phone a little clearer. Go ahead.
Oh, I want a house with some potential for growth.
There you go.
I like the Boston Edison part of town. Do you think it's reached its apex, or...
Boston Edison district is a great area, and it doesn't matter. It's got so many different opportunities from lower square footages to higher square footages. You can find something from 1,500 square feet all the way up to 4,000 plus square feet. On the flip side, if you want something that you can build equity in, you can purchase as low as $50 a square foot, and it gives you a lot of room to invest in that area. And if you want something finished, you can usually find a beautiful home that's well restored for right around $140 to $150 a square foot. So depending on your size of the house that you're looking for, you can buy something from $100,000 in that area all the way up to $450,000, which is on the market right now.
Yeah, John, those great areas are Corktown, like the riverfront area. You do Midtown. That's interesting thought because a lot of families do talk about this Boston Edison district, which is great coming back. Can you just get on the outskirts of it a little bit, and maybe that's where your opportunity is?
Well, you know what's interesting? If you go and look at the west side of the Lodge in Boston Edison, you see construction dumpsters lining the streets.
Wow.
There's so much action there right now. We've got a great listing actually on Atkinson, 2255 Atkinson. We're actually doing an open house there today.
Oh, great.
Between 2 and 4. But this house, it's a local developer. He did everything from top to bottom.
Wow.
So opened up the floor plan, beautiful hardwood floors. He's got heated floors in the bathrooms, all new infrastructure. But, you get the luxury of being in a historic home with all the modern amenities.
That's really cool. What does something like that sell for? Just if you throw some general number, what it's listed for?
This house is listed for $349, so
Okay.
right around $140 a square foot.
And so the square footage on that, can you do the math real quick? What is that square footage on that house?
2,600 square
Oh,
feet.
it's a
And
nice
then you've
size
got a
house.
finished basement with a whole other bath down there. And one of the cool things that they did is they kind of took in the old screen porch, built it into a mudroom. So you've got great locker systems, perfect for a family to come in. And they've got the attic is also finished. So perfect playroom up there. So, and what you're seeing a lot of younger people in their 20s and 30s moving in there looking to start families because location wise, it's easy to get on the expressway. It's fast to downtown, and really you can get wherever you need to go in a good amount of time.
Yeah, these areas are just booming. My cousin of mine actually bought in Corktown, and the home already went up in value just from the day he closes. I think it's already gone up in value. So lots of opportunity. The general question was, what's going on? Is Southeast Michigan a great place to invest in? There's no doubt. Right now we're on a big roll. A little bit of scare going on, of course, when we see the UAW and on picketing and the strikes going on with our automotive company because so many of us work in these places and feed into the automotive industry. But things have been, with unemployment figures being really at all-time lows, things are really looking good here in Southeast Michigan. We got a tough winter to deal with, Harry.
Yeah,
but other than that,
but you're looking in Detroit area, metropolitan Detroit area, Detroit specifically. The historic areas. If you're going to Indian Village, if you're going to Palmer Woods, if you're going to University District at Livernois, between 6 and 7 Mile Road and 7 and 8 Mile Road over there. You're taking a look at Boston Edison. I mean, these are all historic areas. The area that John's referring to is west. It's west of the Lodge. It's west of Boston Edison. I happen to know a little bit about that area myself. And you have to take a look at the value in the home. The home that this guy's redoing at 2255 Atkinson, I mean, it's a total redo. All right, the house is a beautiful house. I mean, it's, you have to take a look at it. It has to be right. It has to be a fit. These projects have to be a fit for people, and you could get a lot of bang for your buck if you take a look at it.
Yeah, and the nice part about those homes is they have character. They have the old school character with all of the new school amenities. So there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out there. 248-539-9797. You want to get hooked up with John Lambrecht to show you all these great homes. He's got a great staff at a couple different offices. So there's a lot we can share with you and really make it fun and exciting. There are a lot of great professionals in our real estate industry. When you're working with the great ones out there, you really do. There's a difference. And if you're only talking, and even in our world, if you're calling a mortgage company, a lender, and you're only talking about interest rate and you're a buyer, you got to get on the right path. It's not only interest rate, because at the end of the day, that's nothing we control, and they're already at all-time lows. So that part of the puzzle is already complete. What you need to do is have the professionals really narrow it down. So that wants and needs list, John, we always talk about that. Really getting that buyer to get their knowledge, get their head screwed on the right way, so they're focusing on the wants and needs. And after they close, they're looking at you saying, this is exactly what we wanted.
Right, exactly. And sometimes when people originally start looking, they don't know exactly what they want. Some people think that they want a fixer-upper, and they've never done one before.
And then they realize how much work, energy, money it's going to take them, right?
Exactly.
And that might not be the handiest person in the world.
Right. So maybe sometimes it's better that they find something that just needs a few simple updates. Sometimes it's paint, maybe updated bathroom, but you're not tearing apart your kitchen in every bathroom. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm in over my head.
Well, of course, there's all sorts of different ways to buy a house, too. Renovation loans are out there, zero down programs, whether you're a veteran, USDA loans are out there, but also the conventional loans you can buy for 3% down up to $484,350. So you can get a lot of house anywhere in the United States for just 3% down, and sit with the mortgage professional and find out how you fit in. Again, call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. There's no obligation or anything, and talk with some real professionals. It's pretty fun. 64% of Americans right now are homeowners. They got mortgages out there. Home ownership is back. It's happening again. And even the younger people, the younger generation, they understand it. They want to buy a house and then even rent it out to their buddies. You don't want to be the guy paying your buddy the $600-700. You want to be the guy collecting the money each month. And then you have that chance at appreciation. And right now, appreciation in the United States is at all times, it's like $484 billion. The average homeowner, actually, their home value went up about $4,900 on the average. So even the clients that bought with you a couple of years ago, I'm sure they're calling you and they're excited and they realize that they made a good move.
Absolutely. And, it was great. I was talking to one of my clients that I sold the house to 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. He said, I've gained X amount of equity in my house. He's excited. But, he sees the opportunity now to upgrade houses, and he's in Harper Woods right now, wants to move to Grosse Pointe, and I told him it's a wonderful opportunity to move because you're getting great interest rates, and you want to take advantage of that. People forget the days of 12% interest, and right now you're getting a house that maybe $700,000 house, and maybe it's around $3,500 plus.
Yeah.
But triple the interest rates and see how much the mortgage is there. So right now is a great time to upgrade houses.
Yeah, the opportunities are definitely there. When we come back, we're going to dive into a little bit more of this. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, 9:15. If you're just joining us, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Yeah, the show that gives you the answers on buying a house, refinancing your house, and a whole lot more. Give us a call, 248-539-9797. I'm Harvey Freed. He's Harry Glanz. Becky Alley.
Present.
Top 1% of all originators, Becky. That means something. You're
In
right
the
here.
country. In the country.
You.
And, of course, none other than the great Joe Muck from Keller Williams out in the Novi Northville area. Joe, always great to have you here because it's just nonstop with the information. We got some calls already coming in. And if you'd like to join the show, 248-539-9797. Let's go to those calls. I got Steve first. Good morning, Steve. Welcome to our show.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Real good.
Morning.
Go ahead with your call.
Hey, just calling regarding a new construction build. So I have some land, have my plans, have the builder picked out. In the process of now of digging into a loan to own a home, paid for, so it's owned outright. Very little credit. Any credit that I have is paid off monthly, and I just have a loan for a car with about $1,500 left in payment. So I'm just wondering approach or what type of process is to get a loan.
Do you own the land free and clear that you want to build on?
Yeah.
You own that.
Yeah,
So
the
you
land
bought that
free.
outright. That's all free and clear.
Yes.
Now, with regard to the plans and specs, and you picked out your builder, did they price it out and did they go ahead and calculate what it's going to cost you?
Yeah, they've got that all itemized out from pretty much everything is all
Okay,
itemized out.
and you're going to be responsible for financing the whole project. The builder's just going to build it. You're going to buy all the materials or what they're going to tell you from the materials list, and then you're going to have to pay for everything on the spot, correct?
Correct. I'm paying the builder a percentage of the build, and he's overseeing the project.
Good.
Right.
Yeah, well, you need a construction loan. There's no doubt about that. You're ready to decide which lender you want to move forward with and sit down and look at terms. Most of the construction loans that are out there now will allow you to go ahead and roll that construction loan into an end loan product. I guess the two things that I would be concerned, I built a couple homes, so a couple things that I would be concerned about is really just that you're working with someone you extremely trust, and make sure you have the conversation about when he's purchasing the lumber, when he's working with the lumber yards and all the materials, that you have some oversight on that. It's the only thing that I ran into that got a little funky in the transaction was my builder too was an independent builder, the last house I built, and he was building 4 homes at the time. So it was a little hard to distinguish between which materials were going into my house and which were going into some of the other homes. So at the end of the day, it got a little, I saw some interesting numbers that, looked like I might have lost some money on it. And again, at the end of the day, it all worked out just fine and dandy, but you're ready for that. Go ahead and sit down with the lender, bring your builder in. Of course, as long as the builder's approved and licensed and insured, most of the lenders will go ahead and grant you the loan and start the project.
Okay, it's pretty easy. I mean, from any particular bank or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll call you about that. We'll call you off the air about that. But let me ask you this question: when are you getting ready to start this project?
Well, the specs of the home or the blueprints of just are going to be submitted to the city. So it's, we're looking at probably about 6 weeks. I'd like to start.
Good. Yeah, if you could break ground before winter kicks in, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Get that foundation poured maybe November, and then you can start framing it up and stuff, and probably get it all, maybe even enclose it before the end of when the winter kicks in.
All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll give you a call off the air, and we'll go through the whole thing with you, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll make our recommendations.
Hey, Steve, where are you building at? Where are you building?
Richmond, Seminole Lake.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations. Yeah, we'll give you a call off the air and see if we can point you in the right direction. Really good stuff. I'm excited for you. Good.
Thank you very much.
All right, really fun.
Guys.
I've been fortunate enough to actually build a couple homes, and yeah, it's great. I mean, new construction's Welcome back to the show, 9:30. Can't say it's a gorgeous day out there, but get out there anyways. Enjoy. We got a lot of things going on. We got Michigan football at noon. We got Michigan State football coming up at 3:30, and of course the Lions taking on KC tomorrow on Sunday. So that'll be cool. Keep it here on 97.1. You can talk sports, and we got Pat Caputo coming up next, right after our show at 10 o'clock. But of course, first, another 30 minutes, we can talk about your man cave. We brought John Lambrecht in from Lambrecht Realty. A lot of different programs going on and stuff out there. John, your developments. We talked about some Detroit stuff. In our area, of course, Royal Oak's been, obviously hot over the last 20 years. I don't know what happened. I could have bought the whole city, maybe 25 years ago, but sure enough, a lot of great developments there. Tell me a little about that Royal Oak property, too. 15 units coming up.
Sure, yeah. We were just approved for a 15-unit development at Parent in Maine.
Wow.
So one of my favorite agents is working on that project, my mom, Susan Lambrecht.
There you go.
So, yeah, family business. So, but yeah, we're really excited for that. And the development in Royal Oak that you see, I mean, it is unbelievable how that city has changed and continues to.
Yeah, it used to be a ricochet city, and now it's a center of its own. People used to go into Birmingham, say, oh, I can't afford this, but I can do Royal Oak. This is okay. It was the consolation prize. No longer is that the case. It's a center in and of itself. As a matter of fact, there are a number of people that would rather live in Royal Oak than Birmingham. There's more life downtown.
Exactly. 248-539-9797.
Send all your email to Frank Hudaker at lowrateonline.com for that comment. I like it, Frank.
One of the things that comes up, and again, we talk about general things on the show, whether it be appraisals and values, which have been really good as homes are appreciating here, and of course, Southeast Michigan. That's what we care. It's regional. We don't really care what's going on in California, although they're doing a little bit better out there. But we've seen some great appreciation in the Midwest. Has been a very hot area. There are only two places in the country, Connecticut, and I don't want to guess on the other one. I think, one of the Dakotas that actually lost value. But other than that, all the other states have done quite well in different regions around the United States. So the opportunities there. But a couple different things we talk about. Homeowners associations. This has been a thing that people like to talk about. I don't know if all these boards are from people that were picked on in high school. If they lost their if they lost their mock elections. I don't know what happened, but homeowners association, it's a thankless job at the end of the day.
Let me clean this up for you.
Okay.
What you're trying to say there, homeowners associations, whether it's a subdivision or if it's a condominium complex, they're supposed to provide guidance and service and stability for that neighborhood or that complex. So when you have your common areas, your streets, things that need to be, if you have garbage collection, that's part of it. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. If you have common areas that need to be mowed, these people are supposed to go ahead and make sure all these things get done. Now, in our world, we have to call up and we have to figure out what the homeowners association dues are, either on an annual or a monthly basis. So when we call up, what Harvey's trying to say is, we're just looking for information. It would be nice because we have a homeowner on the other end that we're serving that needs this information. What Harvey's saying is it would be nice if you were cordial, friendly, and helping us out and getting us the information in a timely fashion.
I wasn't going to be that mean, but thank you for cleaning me up.
What also Harvey is neglecting to say is that it used to be, when we got in this business, they would charge $40, $50, $60 to fill out a 1 or 2 sheet piece of paper that we need for the loan. I know it sounds stupid that we need this for a loan from a homeowners association, but now they're charging $250, $350, and $500 for the same information.
Well,
so let's just be nice about it. Get us what we need.
Well, that was one of the angles of it. But truthfully, the people on the board, they're doing a great job. It's a thankless thing, but they help.
You just ripped on them.
Well, I was picking on them because it's funny, but because that's what they mostly are. But the community, they handle the community pools. They handle the rules and regulations, so you don't put in a nasty swing set in your backyard. They maintain the common areas. They remind your neighbors that you can't take out the trash the night before and not have a trash can. Things of this nature. Where I'm going with it is also they avoid your neighbor from painting the door some crazy color. So things like that happen, and it's your job as a homeowner, Frank and John, you see this. Grab those master deeds and bylaws. Find out what's going on. So many families now, again, it's all about the dollars.
Well, you can't park the RV in the front lawn for more than 24 hours, okay? I mean, there's a lot of things that are in there that you have to. If you're going to buy in a certain area, you need to know what the homeowners association says and what the use and restrictions are, correct?
I was going to say, use and restrictions is very important, especially if you want to buy it and maybe use it as an investment property, rent it out, or
maybe you can't rent it out. Maybe you can't have a rental property in that neighborhood.
A lot of them, they only allow a certain percentage in the area to be rented.
So that's where I'm going with it is, again, double check as a homeowner. Sort of, you're looking at buying a house, you're thinking about maybe even a condominium. Find out what those bylaws are by checking out the master deed and the bylaws.
So there are people out there driving around right now, and they're listening to the show, and they're saying to themselves, what do you mean? I can't buy a house and do what I want with it? What do you mean I can't? This is my house. I'm buying it, and I'm going to do whatever I want with the house. Well, you better check that master deed and bylaws if there is in that neighborhood, or there might not be, but you might not be able to rent it. You might not be able to have pets in a condominium complex. Yeah, it's crazy. You're saying to yourself, what do you mean? I'm buying a property. I'm doing whatever I want with it. Not so fast. Check it out.
Yeah, stop by and check. You might even want to stop by a neighbor or two, too, to look for the unwritten rules. Because there are unwritten rules by certain people who make the rules.
Is that like you don't bunt to break up a no-hitter?
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go,
The
right.
unwritten rule.
Yeah, an unwritten rule.
And that sort of segues right into the sports station here. Good stuff. 248-539-9797. Mortgage rates are fantastic. Again, since 2011, just so many different opportunities out there. One of the things we're totally seeing out there is right now the volatility of the market. So we're calling up families, and your lender might be calling you, and they're saying, look, there's an opportunity now. And there's that urgency in our voice because these markets can change daily. We do have an election year coming up, but what's going on with the trade wars between the U.S. and China is it's really affecting our marketplace. It's affecting the bond market on a daily basis. So if you hear that urgency, if you're mortgage people, if it's us, we're calling you and we're telling you, hey, let's get going with this. We want to lock you into today's low interest rates so that you can take advantage of it. Again, if the rates happen to go down again next year, great. There's another opportunity for you.
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for?
All right. Give us a call here on the show, 248-539-9797. I want to dive into some refinancing real quick because it's a great topic right now. We mentioned earlier in the show that's a great opportunity for families that just bought in the last year or two. You got your tax assessment maybe on July 1st, and you might be getting a letter soon from your lender stating that escrow account is short. We do get those calls. Again, the taxes might have been $3,000 when you closed. Now you're reassessed and you're looking closer to $5,000. So different things you can do as a homeowner. We talk about educating the homeowner, John. Call the city and find out the mills. Talk to me a little bit about that. A little extra, what you guys provide as great real estate agents.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, as you said, you definitely want to understand that and call the city and know what you're getting into, because once those taxes become uncapped, it could go from $3,000 to $5,000, as you just said. So I think making sure that you're working with somebody that's helping you do your due diligence, working with you, and I think Frank does a wonderful job at that with his clients and some of mine, most of mine, with the deals that we do together. And really making sure that they understand the full picture of homeownership and this property.
It's all about preparation and disclosure. You have to know what you're walking into because it's got to be a reasoned decision. This is an economic buy just as much as it is a social or a family buy at this point. I mean, I have at times. Friends of mine, I've begged not to buy a particular house because they fell in love with it, but it's an economic dog. You want, like we were talking about before, equity's power. Equity is flexibility. You either give yourself that power and flexibility for the future, or you take it away from from yourself with that economic decision. Make a good decision, and it's a springboard for the next house that you really want.
Well, 9 million people out there could take advantage of the lower interest rates that are still there. There's 11.5 million. The rates burped up a little bit. Still about 9 million of you can take advantage of it. But Frank, what you said I caught on to is, then fine, you need that extra knowledge. Work with an established loan officer. Work with established family. I mean, you're third generation here, John. We could talk about things forever and ever and how the city changed. And remember that building used to be that, and now it's this. Established people bring a little bit more to the table, working with quality professionals. I'm not saying that there's obviously some great rookies out there. We got Rookie of the Year awards everywhere and everything. But yeah, working with people that talk a little bit more about the details of a transaction. That's what I really like out there. We know education drives everything.
Right. Well, I think for Lambrick Realty, our number one priority is making sure that we provide our clients the highest quality and care. And I think, buying a home is a big deal. And we want to make sure that they're well informed, that they get something that they love, that's a good investment. And, we never want to oversell and put somebody in a bad situation that they're going to be in down the road. So, we take great pride in not worrying about how many signs we can get in the ground or how many agents we can hire. We're a lot more selective with our hiring process And but again, we really want to make sure that our clients are well taken care of and they can get a hold of us. But as we educate them as well in the area and they understand the market, especially with not only just home buyers, but you have a lot of investors coming in to Metro Detroit from out of state and out of country. And they're unfamiliar with the market and they haven't been here, but they hear great things. There's a huge buzz about Detroit area
John,
throughout the United States.
We had that caller earlier mentioned Southeast Michigan. What are the investment opportunities? There are international buyers. There are out-of-state buyers. There are people looking in and they're investing in this region. And I say region as a whole because Metropolitan Detroit is hot. Detroit is hot. But they're also going in other places. They're going to Grand Rapids. They're going to Battle Creek. They're going to Kalamazoo. So, I mean, Detroit and Metropolitan Detroit and the whole state of Michigan is really hot right now.
All right, we're up against a quick break here. Keep it on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show, 9:34. If you're just joining us, that's 1 hour of football therapy, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. That's right. Take your mind off of football just for a little bit. We got Michigan football, we got Michigan State football, and the Lions tomorrow. So it's going to be really pleasant around here on Monday, Harry, or maybe not. So hopefully we get 3 W's out of it. But again, 1 hour of the mortgage show.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're going all the way. But
hey, the Lions are undefeated.
Joe, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports right at 10 o'clock and a whole bunch of sports all day long here. Hey, we dove into a little bit of what's going out there. Also, the show 63% of the properties out there have mortgages. Joe, we talked a lot about this equity. I mean, it's crazy, $428 billion, the most amount of equity in the United States right now for homeowners. Home ownership's great. We already know about all that. What else is going out there? Borrowers have all this equity. You got to do the right thing with it. But also, Joe, you talk about new construction. How about people overspending? We talked about, is there a boom going on? Don't over-improve for your neighborhood. Comment on a few of these things.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting. The overspending has not been as drastic as it has been. So when we talk about a market slowdown, sometimes these are the types of things that we really mean. That instead of putting $10,000 over on a $150,000 house, we're putting $2,500 over on a $150,000 house or a $450,000 house. I mean, I just saw one recently across the street from me that sold, and it sold in 7 days, multiple offers, but for $2,000 over ask, and it was in the mid 400s. So those are numbers that are still happening, but not as drastic, right? And that means that it's just a slightly different market, but it's still a hot market. And everybody asks, well, aren't we going to collapse? So it's going to collapse. It's going to collapse. 2008 is going to happen again. And you're talking about it with the billions of dollars more in equity. We're not in the same market that we were in. How many interest-only ARM loans are you guys doing right now?
Yeah.
How many negative amortization loans are you guys doing right now?
We never did them. I have to set the record straight on that again. I'll be the bad guy. Never did subprime loans.
I think that makes you the good guy.
Never did negative AM. But no, there are people who are going to call in and they're going to write and they're going to, hey, Harry, you liar, whatever. Wrong. Never did neg AM. Never did subprime loans.
Yeah, but the point is that people were doing them, right? Mm-hmm. And that stuff's not out there, not much. Like we said in the break, we have predictable mortgages right now, and that makes the market a good market. And so when we look at what people are doing when they're buying and appraisal waivers and things like that, it's still happening because we know that in a good market, we're going to see appreciation. So if you go a little bit over today, next year, maybe even sooner, it's going to catch right up. And as long as you plan on being in the home for 3 or more years, it's not going to be a big deal.
So, Joe, here's the deal. If you borrow in the 4s, okay, let's just round it to 4%. After tax, you're in the high 2s. All right, why are you going to fool around with any other product? And people are going to say, but what if I'm only in the home for a year and a half? It's still a fixed rate market. I don't care. It's overwhelmingly a fixed rate market. Please don't try to outsmart the market or you
All right, welcome back to the show. 9:45. Just join us, the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. You can find us there. That's 1-800-569-7283. Always taking your calls live in the studio. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. We got tons of sports coming up with Pat Caputo, and again, a lot of college football today. Salute to all the hardworking guys out there. I know last night in high school football, there's a lot of action here. And again, congratulations to everyone working hard out there. We love sports. We like real estate. And you can't have really sports unless you have a man cave. So definitely find out how home ownership fits into your life. We talk always about the minimal down programs, but also for people with 640 credit and above, the state of Michigan's got a great program. It's called MISHDA from the Michigan State Housing Development Authority. They'll give you $7,500. It's a quiet second mortgage, and if you qualify, if you got income limits there, but if you qualify, you could become a homeowner and stop renting, stop paying your landlord's mortgage. You can pay your own mortgage and build this equity that we keep talking about. So lots of opportunities out there. We make it fun at Capital. So give us a call and we'll show you how easy it is. 248-539-9797. I always like to talk about credit too, but pretty much on your side, John, when you just sort of send it to the mortgage guy and said, hey, tell me when we can go out and start looking at homes. But sometimes I tell clients, you know what, let me get you set up with a great real estate agent, sort of get your foot, touch the water a little bit and see what kinds of homes are out there. Do you like that process? Sort of just get people warmed up to it before they really get slammed by the mortgage?
No, I think it's great to work with somebody like Frank and myself at the same time. It's great because you want to find out really what you can afford and what makes sense for you. And also start getting an idea of what the market is, what's out there. I'm happy to show somebody that's just starting to look for homes. I'm happy to show you 20 houses. I want you to understand the market. I want you to understand what you really want. And at the end of the day, somebody will walk into the house and they'll know that it's theirs. They just love it. And that's usually the house for them. But it's important that you have somebody that really looks at them financially first or alongside, because sometimes they're just a couple points away in credit from being able to afford the house that they really want.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great point you bring up, and I think that Frank knows this, we all do. There are certain things we can tell you as a mortgage person, and there are certain things that we can't. We cannot divulge somebody's credit rating, credit score, their debts, their liabilities, and things of that nature. If the client wants to offer that information up to you, we're good with it. But we can't. So when we get calls every day, hey, how come this is taking a little bit longer? We're not going to tell you that, hey, listen, we're having a problem with somebody's credit and therefore this is going to take another 2 or 3 days. We don't talk like that. We don't talk out of school like that. What we will tell you is, listen, we're re-verifying. Easier for my to say. Re-verifying all statements made at the time of issuance of the pre-approval, and we're digging deeper. There's a deeper dive that we have to do on this. So now code translated, you should be able to ascertain that, guess what? Maybe the credit wasn't as good. I found 2 things in 30 years. People really don't know what their credit rating is. They think they do. They either think they have way better credit than they have or way worse credit than they have. Okay, it's never really on target. Either their credit they think is the best ever,
right,
or they think it's the worst ever. The chances are it's in the middle.
Yeah, the models for it here aren't great either, because there's the same 2 different families. They all do everything identical, but maybe someone has less debt out there or pays it off every month. So credit score comes into this play. Just moving your credit score up. If you're thinking about home ownership, that's really the reason why we want you to start a little bit earlier in the process, because it gives us a month or 2, because a small little change. I took a guy off an authorized user on this big account, and sure enough, his credit score went up 30 points. So now he's got that opportunity to get a little bit better interest rate. More programs are available to him. So again, if you're thinking about home ownership, yeah, maybe you want to go steal a house in December. Everyone's buying Christmas gifts. Go buy your family a new house.
Hey, there's not a better present than that. That's great.
Right, especially that time of year, right? So it's a great opportunity. Kids are out of school at that time, but there are reasons why you can get a mortgage with lower credit scores, Frank.
Yes.
We do 580 and above FHA, but you might have to have some compensating factors.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about preparation. You have the ability to prepare. Going into the winter season, it's a lot like going snowboarding or skiing. Generally, for each season, you wax the skis as snowboards so they work better. Same material, you just find a way to optimize that experience, and that's what we do. You have to do that ahead of time. This industry is not built for speed. It's built, not built for comfort anymore either, but it is built for reliability. If we can take and get enough of a head start on it, and this is something we've done with John's clients. I'm working on our third one from this year, where a client walks in and speaks with John or one of his associates and says, I want to rent a house, or I want to rent my next place. And they said, well, are you sure? Maybe we can get you into a home. They hadn't even conceived of that, because you're right, Harry. They don't have any concept of where they stand in the marketplace. They don't understand that credit scores are bell curved. It's not a straight test anymore. You're competing for this money.
And the report that you get from Credit Karma or Credit.com is a consumer credit report. It is not a reviewed credit report from 3 agencies that we use to go ahead and use it for mortgage banking purposes. It's just really a peripheral look at your credit. So they always have higher credit scores.
Yes.
They always do, because they don't want to make anybody mad.
All right. If you've got a larger loan amount out there, definitely want to call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE. Jumbo loans over $484,350. The opportunity is unbelievable. Our jumbo rates, I've reviewed them. We're pretty much beat anyone in town when it comes to that. But again, can you save some money? A higher loan amount, there's a big difference if you could drop that 1/4, 3/8, 0.5%. And one of the things we see with our jumbo borrowers are they took adjustable rate mortgages. So maybe extending those if you're going to stay in the home, maybe locking into a fixed rate. If you bought it and you really like the home, you know that if you move, you're uncapped. And in the next house you buy, even though you're downsizing, the home might cost you the same because of those higher taxes. So the opportunities out there. Be sure to call Capital Mortgage, whether it be a 5, 7, or 10-year adjustable rate mortgages. Families look at those if they're not going to stay too long. But the fixed rates on jumbos right now are the way to go. 10, 15, 30-year, 20 years, Harry.
Yeah,
lock it in and be conservative. Go ahead.
I say that. Lock it in. It's a fixed rate market right now.
Yeah.
If you think you're moving in a certain period of time, you better take a fixed. If you know you're moving, and I don't know how you do know if you're moving unless you're being transferred in and out on a regular basis, it's a fixed rate loan market right now. Rates are so low that you might not see that. I mean, we've said this how many times, 14, 15 times in the last 30 years. But guess what? Why fool around with it?
Yep.
If you're borrowing in the 4s, after tax, it's in the mid 2s. All right, so that's almost stealing. And we've been around long enough to know that things change, things can happen. So why don't you lock in your rate? And October is a great month to do that. All the loans that were taken at the end of August and in September that we locked rates on, they're all going to close in the month of October. Okay, that's what's going to happen. And if you haven't locked in your rate right now, you're missing the boat. You just lock it in. Call your person up. The person that you have the best relationship up, your mortgage banker. I'm giving everybody out there a plug that's a lender. Call your clients. Tell your clients to call you. Lock in the rate right now.
Hey,
Don't
John,
float the rate.
John, is it a great time to buy now? Tell me why it's a great time to buy after that summer rush.
Well, I think that, again, people are always selling, always buying. But right now, I think people going into the fall, they don't want to carry their houses through the winter. They want to get moved in before the snow comes. They don't want to track in all the snow and salt through their new hardwood floors. But again, with the rates where they are, it's a wonderful opportunity to upgrade, lock in your rate. And, we are available all week long and for the weekends. If people want to go look at houses, our schedule is flexible.
It's fun. It's fun to go. How's that inventory looking right now? If you just had to say generally in Southeast Michigan, the areas you're hitting, how's that inventory looking?
There's lots of great inventory. And I think right now what's great about the market is it's fair. It's not necessarily a buyer's market. It's not a seller's market. We're finding a fair price in the middle. And at the end of the day, the right price moves the real estate.
Yep.
Yeah, this is kind of the beginning of the second season. I've always believed there's 2 seasons to home buying in Michigan. The first season basically starts with baseball. The second season starts with football. It's amazing how it revolves around sports.
Love that.
Hey, if you want to buy that second home, be sure to call Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll get you all set up for that. Again, we do mortgages everywhere. So give us a call. It doesn't have to just be in Michigan, but if you want to take a piece of what the up north has to offer, it's absolutely beautiful there. But again, across the United States, so many different opportunities out there. The U.S. Consumer Sentiment came out. University of Michigan puts that out. And it was 1/3 of the respondents mentioned there is a little bit of unease out there because of what's going on globally. Of course, trade policies are a little scary to people, but fewer Americans see job growth. Right now, it's great. They don't necessarily see the wage increase. So again, if you can afford something now, if your job's stable, call the professionals. We'll get you set up the right way. Any last thoughts?
Well, we've got some great open houses this weekend. We'd love for you to come out and see them. We're at 2255 Atkinson in Boston Edison. We've got a great house on Harson's Island that we actually have open at today. Susan Lambert will be there from 3 to 5 at 1204 Gore.
Susan Lambert
otherwise
is
known
a
as
star
Mom.
realtor. She's a superstar realtor, been around a long time, okay? I'm telling you.
Oh, thanks.
Yep.
Obviously, it's my mom. I love her, and she does a great job.
She's a superstar.
Well, that's cool. That's a cool opportunity, Harson. Give me one more. Don't you got another one?
Yep, we have 1536 Brentwood and Troy tomorrow from 2 to 4 or 12 to 2 with Jeff Lambrecht, and then tomorrow in St. Clair Shores 22660 Maxine with Sarah Lewicki.
There you go, John Lambrecht, Lambrecht Realty. You're awesome. I'm going to have you back for sure.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We
Thanks
make real estate and mortgages fun here, so that's the whole key.
Did a great job, my man.
Thanks.
All righty, we got for John Lambrecht and Lambrecht Realty, we got Frank Hudaker. Of course, Frank will get you back on. He's a genius.
Thanks,
Harry
guys.
Glanz. I'm Harvey Freed. Keep it here. We got sports coming up. Pat Caputo. Keep it here.